Taking It. Can you hear me? Okay, Taking It for Gabby and Jen. I never remember the knuckles, though his hand was bare, though their hands were bare. I remember the impressions left upon this skin, the wilting and the welting. I don't remember the sound, not one smack. I remember the falls, myself falling to floor or sidewalk or against the brick wall my head met after a push. There were many pushes. Girls pushed, but I punched. Pulled one down by the hair and kneed her as my own head bled. Girls didn't punch until high school. I had always punched. My father asked, "What kind of girl are you?" "The kind who wants to live," I said, and I did want to until I didn't anymore. But I wanted the leaving to be on my own terms, so I hit my father back. He owned me like any good country father. He waited for a husband to tame what he couldn't corral, to throw a rope like fingers around my neck. Finger holds. I remember those. And me making a fist wrongly, and punching the air when I missed a boy, and I didn't mean to miss, but to hit the line below the belly, the belt line. Wind broke me in the snow my first year north. I'm still afraid to say his name. I wore shoes too thin for the weather. Who had ever seen snow like that? And I had a Georgia lilt, like molasses on a sore throat. Sweet, raw, and he hated the sound of it. He was black, and I was black, and I was so happy to be in Detroit. And he aimed for my heart-shaped mouth, my gap teeth, my too sweet tongue, and I felt the juvenile weight of him above me like snow after dark, falling steady and hard. He said, "I'm gonna teach you to talk regular," and I stopped speaking at all. I kept my swollen mouth shut and a straight razor in my math book and dreamt of a bat to crack against his chest. A woman like me with soft hands, not hands of the field like my grandmother, but hands meant to stroke and soothe neath a weapon. So I studied the art of war and I watched boxing, and where else was all this rage to go? Is this too dramatic? Then find another story, find a lie. In love, body after body fell beneath my own, though my own was broken, and I made love like a sea creature, fluid as if boneless, though my bones would rattle if not for this fat I cherish, wouldn't you? And I grew to love the heavyweights, myself with one in the ring. I imagined him punching me and punching me again, saying, "I'm sorry, so sorry to have to love you this way." Another anti-pastoral. So I actually now live in the mountains of North Carolina, and I'm surrounded by small black bears that they keep telling me are not dangerous, and I'm terrified because I'm delicious. I know they will eat me. And they tell me, no, they don't eat people. So it draws up all of the things I thought I had resolved in Horse in the Dark, living in such a rural place. I want to put down what the mountain has awakened, my mouth full of grass, my curious tale. I want to stand still but find myself moved patch by patch. There's a bleat in my throat. Words fail me here. Can you understand? I sink to my knees, tired or not. I now know the ragweed from the goldenrod and the blinding beauty of green. Don't you see I'm shedding my skins? I am a paper hive, a wolf spider, the creeping ivy, the ache of a birch, a heifer. I have fallen from my dream of progress, the clear cut glass, the potted and balconied tree, the lemon waxed wood over a marbled pillar into my own nocturne. The lullabies I had forgotten. How could I know what slept inside? What would rend my fantasies to cud? And up from this belly straw-strewn field, these utterings. Helen of ships. Teeth perfect as snow on the mount, blanketed by lips the tint of an autumn sunset, red as an implication of red, and the pink, a throbbing pink, lark's heart, something to put one's cheek to and sigh over what is tender in life. Helen of the slim limbs and limber neck that holds a delightful head of strawberry vines folding around delicate ears and falling over the perfect crest of a forehead. Helen, who wouldn't leave home for you, darling, so flushed and foreign, so much and so little to want, like the craving from a Roman tent. Who could leave you alone, Helen of desire, of the wreck made of lives given over to you, and your hand mirror, why, I'd love you myself if the line weren't so long. Don't I know beauty when I see it? And I see you, smiling from the balcony, the glint off a tooth blinding everyone below, and we are all beneath you. In your honor, I dye my hair, I starve. I open the door for my husband's release, but he won't go. What's wrong with him, Helen? Helen, what's wrong? Say it any way you can. So I was asked to write a praise poem for James Brown and found I couldn't do it. Even though his music forms the backdrop of my life, even though when I hear his music I see myself in little purple hot pants running around shaking my thing. And as I wrote the poem over the course of a year, well, you'll see for yourself what happened. Say it any way you can. He hit her in the back of the head. Truth finds its own coarse measure. Not long out of diapers, I wore purple hot pants, danced a funky chicken. There was the boogaloo and my aunt's wig that went over her hair. I knew men even then. I had uncles and a father. We jumped high in the living room, our lives a quick step. When I held her in my arms, did I do any good? She was hip, too cool, a Saturday night cigarette, a bone-handled pistol in the panty drawer, say it louder. I was proud. I held my head high with my sally-legged aunt. I kicked my heels and my uncle laughed. He had a Western name. This was Texas, a man's world, but women raised these men out of cotton, out of dust, bred longhorns, and bullshit. She could shoot, but she didn't. She said, sing it, baby. Please, please. I got down on my knees and cradled her son's head in my small arms. Out of memory, the thread of truth, a red daisy chain, blood running down her back. He hit her again. I was wearing my purple hot pants, ones that matched hers, or I was in my pajamas holding my cousin's head in my arms, covering his mouth, his eyes with my flat chest, my fingers in his hair red as his mother's, coarse as in unrefined. She wore a wig that fell off her head. He screamed, fat bitch. She cried, don't go, and let her pony legs go to sticks thin as a bluebonnet stem. Texas flower, weed. When I held her in my arms, it did no good. When my mother held her in her arms, she did not come back. I said, don't go. She said, I'm black. I sang, say it loud. He said, black bitch. It was a boogaloo. It had been danced before. My uncle laughed his laugh, and it fell like a wig to the floor. He threw back his head, conked, slick as a razor blade. I'm saying it. The way truth comes out when it's been held too long to your chest and a little voice cries, a boy who will grow into his father's shoes. Dance of generations, cotton-eyed marshals, green-eyed brown men. She said, you can't trust men like that. Turned me around, said, do your dance, girl. Sing your song. She could shoot, but didn't. Someone else did. I'm saying, in a bar. Years and miles up the road, my uncle fell, like a wig hitting the floor. Juke joint, gin stomp, James Brown always spinning. He was big stuff in a slim suit, but cool as Saturday night he fell. His hair flawlessly coiled. Thank you.